Think, please think. The Arabs today claim to be the descendants of Abraham through Ishmael. Now, Ishmael was the firstborn, of course, but he was an illegitimate son. Well, they say it doesn't matter. He still was the firstborn, and he gets the land. He inherits the promises. And we have a problem in the Middle East today because there is a people who call themselves Palestinians, and they claim to be descended from the original Palestinians. And they say, we were here first, and those Jews are occupying our land. You hear about the occupied territories? No, well, they're occupying Jewish land. They've got it backwards. All right, well, so you're descended from Ishmael, and you're descended from the original Palestinians. Who was Ishmael's father? Abraham. What was his nationality? Well, not yet. He was a Chaldean. We just read it. It said they went forth from Ur of the Chaldees, right? So Abraham was a Chaldean. Who was Ishmael's mother? Hagar. What was her nationality? Egyptian. So you've got an Egyptian mother, you've got a Chaldean father, and when they arrive in this land called Canaan, it's already settled by Canaanites. And you dare to say that you are descended from the original Palestinians? You are lying. Maybe you're ignorant. You heard that over and over. It is not true, okay? Now, if you've read Judgment Day, you know. When did this land of Israel become Palestine? 130 AD, the simple history. Google it. Go on the internet. You don't even have to go to a library anymore. 130 AD, the Romans, who destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD, began to rebuild it as a city dedicated to Jupiter. 132 AD, they began to build a temple to Jupiter on Temple Mount. You think that upset the Jews? Of course it upset them. There was an uprising. It was successful at first, but the Romans brought in more legions. About 1,000, this is just history, 1,000 Jewish villages were killed, were destroyed. They killed about 500,000 Jews. Thousands more sold into slavery. And in anger, the Romans renamed Israel. It was Israel up until 135 AD. The Romans renamed it Provincia Syria Palestina. And from that time on, everyone living there was called a Palestinian. Who lived there? Who lived there? Jews. You chase them out, they come back. This is our land. God gave it to us. Jews were called Palestinians. Ask the general. I don't know whether he will mention this when he gets. He was part of a volunteer brigade in the British Army called the Palestinian Brigade. How many Arabs were in the Palestinian Brigade? 0. They were all fighting on Hitler's side. The Palestinian Brigade was all Jews, okay? They were known as Palestinians. You had the Palestinian Symphony Orchestra, Palestinian Post. These were Jewish orchestra, a Jewish symphony, a Jewish newspaper. I quote, and I don't think I can find it because I didn't write this down in any notes, so I won't even bother to try, but I can quote it well enough. I quote a gentleman named Ahmed Shukeri. Now, if you read this, you ought to know this, but anyway, Ahmed Shukeri, he was an Arab leader. In 1956, Ahmed Shukeri, an Arab leader in the Middle East, testified to the United Nations, there is no such place as Palestine. That's a Zionist invention. We Arabs are not Palestinians. If there's any Palestinians, it's those Jews. 8 years later, 1964, Ahmed Shukeri became the founding chairman of the Palestine Liberation Organization. And they began to say, oh, no, we are the Palestinians. We're descended from the original Palestinians. And these Jews are Johnny-come-latelys, and they're occupying our land. And the world accepts it, and it becomes the basis for Condoleezza Rice to do some nice things over there. Get out of Gaza, you Jews. Yeah, next comes the West Bank.